At Phoebe Sessa Agricultural Garden, we sell a variety of garden and agricultural supplies and tools both for domestic and commercial use. Whatever your agricultural needs, we've got it. Contact Phoebe Sessa Agricultural Garden Supplies for all your gardening and agricultural needs. They are located at number 29 Mucurapo Street, San Fernando, and newly opened at lot number 2 Sherwood Park, Canby, Tobago, behind the Performance Auto Building. They are also a distributor and servicing dealer for all still products. Open on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can contact their San Fernando branch at 657-1338, 460-3117, or 344-9186. And their Tobago branch can be contacted at 280-1223.
Sitaram, and thank you for joining us. You are about to enjoy a satsang by Pandit Keshava Gosine. You can call or WhatsApp Pandit Keshava Gosine at 712-2180. Sitaram, and do enjoy this presentation.
Prem Samalo Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. Sitaram everybody, and welcome to Mahabharat Gyan Yajna. This afternoon we are doing our second session. Yesterday we started with a discourse that took us into a conversation between Yudhishthir and the grandfather, that great personality by the name of Bhishma. And in it, Yudhishthir yesterday was talking about, do you remember? He was talking about how he felt so guilty. He's so perturbed because he's the one who is opposing Duryodhana and all the politicians of Hastinapur. And because of him and his brothers, there is this war now that has been going on. And now, Sikandin had damaged Bhishma. Bhishma is lying on the bed of arrows, as you would have seen in your religious programming here on Sankhya and other places like ZTV. Bhishma is lying with the arrows pressed in his body, and it is said he is leaking blood like a tree leaking sap, profusely he is leaking blood. And Yudhishthir is feeling very heavy. He is feeling very hurt. He is feeling very, very guilty that because of his acts, this is now happening to another person that he has so much respect for, he has so much love for. Let me say Sitaram and Namaste to all of you that are joining us on TikTok Live. For those of you looking on YouTube, please remember, subscribe to all the avenues. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the TikTok channel, and follow us on Sankhya for more. Today, as we get set now to continue in a wonderful discourse, today in this discourse again, we pick up from where we left off yesterday, where Bhishma is telling, yesterday he was telling Yudhishthir about the importance of peace of mind. We touched in Bhagavad Gita about how we must be firm, because in this life, karma, good days, bad days, will push and pull us. And Bhishma gives them a story yesterday that illustrated the need for stability and steadfast. Hold to virtue, hold to good activity, so that good karma will manifest good experiences in your life. And the lesson was taught, because otherwise, if we sway every time we get a good day, or we sway because we had a bad day, your life becomes like a boat toppling on the waters of the ocean. Rather, Gita says we must be firm like the water. That even when the river empties into the ocean does not look as if something has happened. The ocean stands firm and stands fast and stands normal, full, the brim of the ocean, the waterways on the edge, the shore. It doesn't look like something has happened there. The ocean absorbs the good days. It absorbs the bad days, and it is prepared now because God is standing with that individual. In that way, because of that strength, stability comes. There are many people, as we get set to go, There are many people live a life where they are robbed of their peace of mind on a daily basis. Yesterday we spoke about the example of the traffic, the hectic and the crazy drive on the road. The person who causes the accident that causes another person inconvenience. It does happen. And these irate drivers sometimes walk away with a lot of road rage that they could put themselves in trouble. Peace of mind. Gita, he says, how can a person be happy? How could they know happiness if they don't have peace of mind? If you don't have that solitude, that solace in your life, the quietness that you could just relax and for 2 seconds be happy within yourself, find pleasure, delight within yourself, within your life, within the children, within the marriage, within the food. Not everything is going to be perfect. Or are you waiting? No, send me a message. Send me a message today if you're watching me on Facebook, if you're following this satsang. Are you one of those people that are waiting for perfection? Do you know somebody like that? As I said yesterday, the house have to go from wood to concrete and then we will be happy. When I get married, then I'll be happy. When I have children, then I'll be happy. When I get the promotion, then I'll be happy. Well, boy, I don't know your experience. Maybe you could send me a message and tell me, but I don't think it works like that. In fact, he says in Gita, that happiness comes and then it goes. It comes and then it goes. And what does he want us to do? Chapter 5, sorry. That person with firm intellect, free from doubt, doesn't rejoice on not obtaining what is pleasant. Rejoice not on obtaining what is not pleasant. So you don't celebrate when you don't get the bad stuff, and does not feel perturbed on meeting with the unpleasant. That person, what they would say is the know of Brahma, fancy way of saying you know God, or the energy in everything. Lives eternally in the identity, knowing that I am living in God's creation and God is living in with me. He is within me. He is the controller. That is how you reach to that point. Easy to say. Easy to say. This afternoon, we enter into the Vana Parva, Draupadi Satyabhama Samvad Parva, Sub Parva. Draupadi and Satyabhama about to have a wonderful discussion. Disclaimer, at the very onset, let me say this. And if anybody comes in after, please let them know. Recently we did Facebook Yajna, online Yajna. And I was punishing the men when we were talking about abuse, psychological, verbal abuse, cultural abuse, physical violence. We spoke about that. And of course, there are homes where women beat men. That does exist. Men don't like to talk about it. But some men do get a lot of licks. And I did say that we would come back to deal with the girls. And today, I want to talk about one aspect. And you will see it in our conversation. And you could say, in a summary, that this discourse is talking about how to get peace of mind in your marriage. How does a person get peace of mind in their life? We will echo the words and sentiments in Bhagavad Gita, and we will touch on that before we go. Today, it is truly an opportunity for me to sit with you. And I pray that God bless you and these words and tidbits of knowledge and wisdom resonate with you in your life. Know that I don't mean today because we're talking about some very sensitive things. I don't mean to attack you. I am not talking about any one person viewing here. I'm talking about situations that happen in real life. And what's the bigger picture? There are many people going through depression, many people who are addicted to substance. There are many people who are divorcing. In this topic today, where we'll be talking about man and woman in the marriage, many people go down a road where they are perturbed and they're so frustrated they don't know what to do again. And because of that frustration, yes, abuse does happen on both sides of the aisle. And we must start to tackle our problems. We can't run from them. So for once, let's hear what our text talk about. Waiting. Let's learn from what our books say and what we are supposed to do as Sanatanists. How to live right. This is my aim and my initiative this evening. Everybody, welcome again to satsang here at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram. We're doing Mahabharat Gyan Yajna. This is our second night. And as we are broadcasting on Sankhya TV, I'm also live on TikTok. We are going to be replayed on the YouTube channel. I encourage everybody to subscribe, support, and to leave your comments. Reach out. If this message resonates with you, I want to hear about it. Everybody, please draw your hands as we get into our satsang this afternoon. As we do mantras, please pray together. As we call on God and we ask for His permission to do His discourse. Om Gajananam Bhutaganadi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palachara Vakshitam
Umasutam Sho
Kavinashkarakam Namami Viganeshwara
Parapankajam
Sarvamangalamangaliye
Shive Sarvat Sadhike
Sharanye
Trayambike Gauri
Narayani Namostute Guru Brahma. Come on everybody. Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma
Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha
Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Bhashmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namaha Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhate Gerem Yat Kripa
Tamaham Vande
Paramanandam.
Madhavam
The 12th syllable mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
One more time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vrindavan Vyari Lal ki Jai. Before we enter into this, in our society today, if you now came in, Sitaram, welcome to Satsang, here at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram, where we strive to provide the information. I, myself, Pandit Keshava, Gosine, have and continue to provide discourses that will edify you, that will add value to your life. We don't have time to sit here and discuss gossip, recipes, and other things that are null and void in a person's life. When you see the troubles that some people have, when you hear of the difficulties, when you see children dying, families splitting, all kind of different problems, we need to get down to God's word and His guidance for everybody's benefit. And that is my initiative. For this reason, because of our sponsor, Bisessa's Agro Shop from Macarapo Street, San Fernando, Trinidad, we are able to broadcast with the team from Sankhya. In other mediums such as TikTok and YouTube, we are able to broadcast as well, reaching people far and wide. From our home to your home, welcome. In today's world, we are met with a lot of troubles in marriage. And you know what, as a pundit, I want to highlight one thing. We're going to meet with it here in the very beginning of our discourse. Satyabhama, who is described in Padma Puran as an incarnation, a slight form of Lakshmi Devi. She is the one who gets the Parijat flower when it comes to the earth, the plant. That which, when they chill in the ocean, Krishna goes to Indra and he brings it to the earth for her benefit. In Padma Puran, 4 chapters are dedicated to her, that she has so much history in her previous birth. In this birth, who is she? And that Satyabhama became the wife of Krishna. And in Padma Puran, the question is why? And because of the link to Lakshmi Devi, she earns that right. But here in Mahabharata, it had happened that one day Krishna came to meet Yudhishthira. Krishna had come from Dwarka to have a discussion with all the brothers and those ministers that are around them. So imagine in your mind, for our conversation, the boys go to talk. Draupadi, wife of the Pandavas, and Satyabhama are left alone. So the ladies sit to talk. What will they talk about? Satyabhama is asking Draupadi. This incarnation of Lakshmi is asking her, how is it you are able to live peaceful in your marriage? Listen to the question. We're talking about peace of mind. For every lady watching here, be fair. When people are celebrating 20, 30, 40 years of marriage, if those things, and listen to this stupid pundit, if those things still exist, 40 years marriage, 30 years marriage, 20 years marriage, you know it is 20 years of service. 20 years of patience, truthfully. 20 years of forgiveness, truthfully. 20 years of compromise, truthfully. Maybe in the Indian movies, maybe in the TV shows, maybe in the Valentine's card, maybe we try to emulate for young ones. You know, it's all chocolate and roses every day. But the truth isn't so soft and malleable and loving. Truth is, every day is a battle. And whilst we go to school, whilst we go and we attain knowledge from maths and English and social studies, where maybe you could tell me, did you go to school to learn? And I'm speaking today because the ladies are talking. We're talking from the perspective of the wife, the women. Tell me where you went to school to learn how to be a wife. Let's start with that. At the very beginning of our conversation, when we celebrate the woman, when we celebrate wife as a Hindu, it can't be that you were wearing a ring for 15, 20, 25, 30 years. It can't be kitchen duties, because in case there's a scenario where maybe a person doesn't have hands and they can't go and light the stove, does that diminish her role as a wife? Maybe some people have it in their mind, maybe some, that all a wife is to cook or to clean or to be a house servant. Maybe it have people like that. Maybe, I don't know. Is she capable of more? I think so. Our texts support that, as we're going to hear. And we know truthfully, the wife, she has to be daughter, she has to be daughter-in-law, she has to be wife, sexual partner, best friend, confidant, advisor, financial keeper, bookkeeper, accountant, credit card holder, password rememberer, internet password rememberer. She has to have everything, what we have to buy in the grocery, which grocery we go to, how much type of tomatoes, how much pounds of tomatoes we have to get, which account is saved. You know, when you go on the links machine, is savings, as I do, that's why I notice it is savings or check-ins. This lady is doing a lot. And this is why you celebrate. But what is a wife? Is the role of wife and husband the same? Be fair. I don't think so. But then, where do you learn how to be a wife? If we don't understand the title, then we could get it wrong. In our circle, as Hindus, there's a lot of separation. There's a lot of divorce. And yes, in my opinion, as a priest, I would guide all godchildren. Consult your patra. See what the birth chart have. And in it, we'll talk about the planet Mars and Mangalik. If that is there, the person is predisposed by karma to have a hard life in marriage, relationship, separation, divorce, premature death. All these things are there. But is there remedial work? Yes. Kum viva and all these other things. These things are there. Who's an example of that in Mahabharata? You know, in Bhagavad Gita, we have a Dhritarashtra, the blind king. His wife, Gandhari. She's Mangalik. They married her to, I want to say, a goat, I believe, in the wedding ceremony. In the Mangalik thing, there are different ways to chant it. And they got her married to this animal, and the animal died and so on. So it says that in that thinking, that when it happens, when that marriage fails, people get married to kumbh or khalsa, fig tree, different things. But in that example, that is what they did in that region of India. And when that animal died, the Mangalik cut. She and Dhritarashtra lived happily together. They had children, family life, lived long, many anniversaries. Is it able to overcome? Yes. But when you know what you're fighting, you know how to fix it. Let me start there. But what's the problem? I come across many young girls that don't understand the definition of the word wife. I agree, people learn by what they see. So there are some people that learn a wife is a good homemaker, homekeeper. So my mother kept a clean home. My mother would cook the best kalalu. My mother would iron daddy's shirt. That is a wife. Some people, my wife has to be more than that because we have a business. So my wife has to be, man to man with me. I respect my wife because when I'm changing the oil in the vehicle, my wife could change a spark plug. My wife she knows about these things. We could talk about these things. I could share this information with her. And I respect her for that. Alright? Then, there are some people think that a wife is a mother. That I got married to this girl and she brings forward children and that is her role and she's very good at it and she does. Our children, by the grace of God, they come in good, they're healthy, they're happy, they have nutrition and they have good attitude, good manners. Oh Lord, thank you. That wife of mine is doing such a wonderful job. There's another way you could look at a wife. I hope I leave out any. For some of us, our grandmothers used to cut cane, plant rice. Did you think that those women had it easy like what we have today? I was talking to my niece the other day, and she was giving trouble. Oh God, Mom, me want to go and wash. There's so much work to press this button and then go by the next button and press that. Oh God, my finger got strained. In my life, because we did tote water, but arguably from a tank. The little scrubbing on the concrete scrubber. I don't know if you all had those experiences. That was the hardest thing we had to do. And when people like my mother, my grandmother would talk about their experience toting from pipe stand, for my mother and my grandmother would speak about toting at a distance, the water. Then you hear what hardship was, and then and somebody survives that. Okay, we celebrate, your strength. Women are not supposed to be looked at as the weaker sex in the animal kingdom. For example, the lioness is the stronger one in the lion kingdom. And you see it truthfully, you see it in our homes. Men rely every day on their wives. But if that wife has a clear understanding of what a wife is, then that home would be a success or it may be in trouble. I agree at the beginning, I would always advise, check your patra. Understand how the two of you, the dynamic will work, if it will work. Understand the strength and the weakness, because there are things that we don't foresee, such as genetic problems in children, health problems in your partner. When we check Narigun is a measurement of how the old boy or the old lady would be as time elapse, as time go. Think about it. Haven't you seen in some relationship, the man is strong, the lady is not, or the opposite, the lady is strong, the man is not, or the two of them go good together until such time they go to the next life together, one after the other. Those things could be predetermined. You could see that from before you get married. And if you are okay with it, if you get a good score, then you know you're going to be happy. So you start with strengths. I know if I marry here, I'm going to be able to say you're my friend, etc. Then the work starts. The wedding day is not the hard part. Maybe we make it about the dress and the sari and the makeup and all the fuss with the hair. And I, in my own time, and as a pundit in many other weddings, you really do get to enjoy your wedding too, if you're not careful. But the real fight for the Hindu is to make the next day, and then the next day, and the next day, to make those days special, just like your wedding day. Today we are going to listen to a discourse between these two ladies, and I feel we could learn one or two things that will bring about peacefulness, happiness in our young ladies by clarifying what a wife really is supposed to do and how to do it. And as I was saying in the beginning, she touches on something that is a little ticklish. I just want to preview it. She says, Satyabhama, incarnation of Lakshmi's asking Draupadi, you have husband. How is it that when you want help, you want, support. They are always so obedient, so willing to help you. Your husband is always there. Anything you want, he's there. Oh, what a blessing. It doesn't take fighting. It doesn't take any type of coaxing for him to assist you, Draupadi ji. What is this? Listen to the question. Is this because of some vow you have undertaken, some asceticism, some type of incantation, some drug that you put on your body when just before the monthly cycle, after the monthly cycle, the word here they would use is season? Is this some science with the moon? Is it because of your good looks, your youthful appearance? Is it because of the recitation of some formula, mantra? Some havan? Some bless, like how you would see when we do havan and we take the basma and we put it on our body. Lord Shiva wears it as the tripunda and different things. Blessing your body? Is it some medicine? Some oil? And what I want to tell you is, do these things exist? Yes. Sometimes, and why I'm harping on this point, the first thing some people say when they have problems, when they discover, there are some people they find women are doing all sorts of obia, jadoo, voodoo, different things to coerce them, to get them to do, men, to get them to do what you want them to do. And this is what Satyabhama is asking. Are you doing some type of magic to coerce them, to twist them, to get them to do what you want? Those type of prayers, Vashikaran mantra. Vashikaran mantra is when you are taking control. You are taking, there are different types. You are taking the thoughts, the ability to think, to make rational decision for yourself. You are taking that away. And the person now becomes as if they are spellbound. You know about it. Think about it. I have to get a mantra, I have to go for an interview, and I want to be successful. So I want to say the prayers. And when I go in front, the interviewer, they must like me. So without the mantra, they would not have liked you. You would not have gotten the visa, or the mortgage, or the job. But I wanted to twist it so that I would be able to do it. And in different ways, we use that. It's just in some cases like this, it is possible if you have that dark inclination to abuse it. This exists in Islam. It exists where you use different passages in the Bible. It is there. But it is supposed to be used when people are married and you want to use it now to bring back the marriage. In the marriage where there is the passion, the energy, the sexual attraction is waning, and it happens, I'm telling you it happens. I wish I could get back my spouse. I wish I could get back the attention, the allure. I'm married to this person and I give them all. If they have nobody else, if they have nobody else to touch me, watch me, to pay attention. If anybody else do it, they're wrong. But the one person who's supposed to do it, they care to see. I could color my hair, I could put on perfume, I could do what I want. It have no effect. And believe it, this is where those prayers that are Durga-centered, centric, Devi, works to bring back. Come back here, come. So, Satyabhama is asking, is that what you're doing? Is that how you get this? Is it only by following this type of rhetoric that a person is able to be happy and get support in your marriage? Today, I want to ask you about that. If you live happily in your marriage, how do you do it? There are many people who don't have that blessing. Yesterday, we talked about how things happen and the boat rocks on the sea in Gita, chapter 2, verse 68. How do you keep from being like that? How do you get stability in your marriage as a woman? Let's enter our discourse, where in this conversation Satyabhama is asking, O Panchali, O daughter of that king, that ruler of Panchala, how is it that you are able to have your husband work with you, support you? How do you do that? I want to know how to keep Krishna obedient. As my husband, sometimes he's good and then sometimes he's naughty. He's not good. Draupadi says, Oh Satyabhama, you are asking me a question as if I'm a wicked woman doing and enticing my husband via some low and basic methodology. I am not putting anything on my body. In different religion, you have to understand, and I'm talking straight to everybody. In different religion, women dress, they are told, put different oil, different parts, different powders, and she says powders here, in the private areas of the body. And when husband and wife come together, the husband loses again his senses, his ability to make a decision. I would not have to sing to such basic type or animalistic type of venture to get my husband. When the husband learns that his wife, listen carefully ladies, is addicted to incantations, drugs, oils, he dreads her. When he learns that she's putting things in his food, which does exist, putting things on her body, he resents her. He dreads her. He thinks, he looks at her as if she's a poisonous snake that is entering the bed that he is sleeping in. And because of this, oh, Satyabhama, be very careful when you are going to follow that type of thought, that type of action. Pray for your marriage, but don't become a snake in your marriage, using different things to attack your spouse. Don't do that. Because when a man is afflicted by fear of what the wife is going to do next, just as how a woman could become fearful of the husband when we were talking about abuse and all these things. A man could afraid to eat, a man could afraid to sleep, a man might afraid to drink water because you don't know what she's doing. How can that person live in peace? How can such a person know peace, happiness? A husband might never want to work with that wife, even if helped by all forms of incantations and all these things. We hear of painful diseases transmitted by enemies. Those that have desires to kill send poisons in the form of gifts because they dress it, they tie it. So that the man that takes the gift or whatever you send, it's coated with the powders and all these other oils that these type of people that dabble in these type of prayers, when they send those things and it touches your skin or your tongue, if you eat it, that is, they become sickly. Satyabhama, a person could die. And if you are not careful, women who endeavor into these types of prayers could cause dropsy, leprosy, impotency, idiocy or madness, blindness, deafness in men, because they may have over-administered these types of enchantments or drugs, causing unwanted side effects. Simple. You get more than what you bargained for. So there is a risk. And everybody, you know what has happened? I'm sure I've heard a lot of scary stories in my time. And people say, you know what, well, I didn't know that would have happened. I didn't know that could have happened. It happens. It does. These wicked women treading on this path of sin do sometimes injure their husband. And a wife should never injure her husband, just as a husband should not injure his wife. Simple, eh? Simple. A woman should not sit down and ploy and make plots to harm the husband. Just as, according to our Dharma, a husband should not do anything to inflict harm on his wife. Oh, illustrious Satyabhama, oh great one, you want to know how I have earned this type of conduct from my husbands? In her case, she has husbands. Husband, listen. Listen to how that came about. Let's join together as she's about to relate. And you will hear about how to live. We're going to hear about how to live, because we live in a time, sometimes women, and we're talking about women from this perspective. As I said in previous satsang, we focused on men. In other satsang, we'll pick on the boys. This today is a woman's discourse, so please bear with me. There are many homes that are being split because women forget their wives. For example, I was doing, as a marriage officer, I counsel married people. Husband crying, talking, what happened, boy? Pandit, ashamed to say, ashamed, I don't want to say. What happened? You have to talk it out. You're going crazy. What wrong? What causing this? Pandit, I married a girl and I thought that, we would have sex, we would live as husband and wife. I love my wife. But every time I go to touch my wife, I bad. Don't touch. Pandit, I don't know what to do. I love my wife, I want my wife, but then when I go by my wife, I wrong. May I talk to nobody else, Pandit? May I talk to nobody else? But the accusation are going to talk to somebody else. There are many examples of this. It happens on the other side too, because men do accuse women of the same. But when you understand, and this is why in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 and 5, he's talking about controlling lust. When you understand a sense of duty and selflessness in this example of sex, maybe for happiness, remember, of the entire human race, this person is your spouse. Not everybody, this person. And our Dharma does talk about happiness in marriage life, commitment. And part of that commitment is giving yourself to this person. And in hope that this person would be able to give this self to you and do the best for you in every regard. Not burn the roti every day, but make the best roti. Make you happy when you get to eat your roti. For example, not just get by, if you understand what I mean. Selflessness is part of it. Your intention is part of it. Let's hear what Draupadi, and we'll build on this point. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatma Namo Namaha Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatma
Namo Namah.
Aham karam vihayam kam krodhau cha sarvana sadharan pandhavan nityam prayato pancharamyaha Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya
Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah Pranyam Pratisam hridayam nidhi yathamanamat mamnyate shru suryani ranmana patinam charitam yakshi
Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah
Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. She says, Satyabhama, you have to abandon vanity. Control your wrath, your ability to give trouble. And do your duty with a certain amount of devotion. Now that does not mean servitude. That does not mean servitude. In Bhagavad Gita, he talks about it. I'll find it here for you in chapter 5. He who acts, offering all actions to God, and shaking off attachment, remains untouched by sin, like a lotus flower, by water. Sometimes when we do things just for the reaction, just for the outcome, I'll iron the kurta so he'll be happy. And only when he smiles, then I will smile. When you cook the food and you're looking for the reaction, what our Dharma says, do it for God. Say your prayers over the food in doing your duty. So even if the person is unfair and the reaction is not what it's supposed to be, the gratitude isn't there, it's lacking. It doesn't affect you. Remember, we're talking about peace of mind, being able to survive in this world where you're tested left and right. If you want to not be affected by other people, this is how you do it. Do your duty with that. Restrain jealousy with devotion. In your heart, don't fill your heart with jealousy. And don't allow your heart to fill with feelings of degradation. Of the service that I do it with devotion. What does that mean? Jealousy is a major problem in many relationships. Jealousy could plague a man and a woman equally. And we both are guilty. We both do it. When we have deficiencies, when the belly big, when different things wrong with the body, when you have all the stretch mark, when you feel your body have some form of degradation, some form of flaw, we start to attack ourselves first. Well, she like me again because my belly big. She like me again because I can't satisfy she, or he don't satisfy me, or some talk like that. The hair getting bald, it going thin. Well, that is it. She love me again because of that. And people start to ebb at the self before anybody could say anything. You start to put meaning, and that jealousy starts to, it starts to wreak a havoc in your life. But it is coming from your mind. You're eating my food because you're eating somebody else's food. I feel. You like that lady in the office? And you start, no argument, sometimes things happen. But when jealousy starts to overtake you, it interferes with you. There's a discourse between, I spoke about it last year, where Lord Shiva tells Mother Parvati she was in Kali form. And in Kali form, she asked Lord Shiva, Shivpuran, she says, do you like this form? And he says, no, I like when you are in Gauri form. Gauri means the nice one. That's what I mean. He says, I like when you are in that form, you look pretty, you look, nice, pleasant. And she gets angry with him. And she says, then you don't love me. Because you don't understand the female form. And it's a common mistake that many men make. Tell me, send me a message, tell me if I'm going wrong, anybody. You hear about it in many homes, many marriages. She get fat now, Pandit. That is not the girl I'm married, Pandit. But she did give you 3 children. Stretch marks, skin get a little dark in places. Her body changed. And Durga Mata says that the body of the female is never stagnant. It is never stable. Whether you check hormones, passage of life, whatever it is. One day the breast here, next day the breast move. That is the woman's body. That is what a woman is. And Durga Mata, go check the discourse, you'll see what I'm saying. She says, Shiva, you don't understand woman if that is what you're looking. If you expect she to look as she did when she was 19, every day of her life, regardless to her role, regardless to her suffrage, regardless, then you don't understand what a female is. As she's growing, she's changing, she's evolving, and that is natural. And if you love her, you have to love her in all her colors, shades, stretch marks, different textures, different elasticity, the color, the hair, everything. Don't allow that feeling of degradation to interfere with your job in your marriage. Of course, again, men have their job too. But we're focusing on this conversation today. Sarva Vyakshanaratam Somkalpan Maharata Save Chaturyahar Namyena Parta Chivena Pratiyatam. When you are in your marriage, have a certain amount of respect. Fear when speaking, fear when speaking false, fear when speaking evil things, how you talk, how you sit, the impropriety that we all do sometimes, how we do our eyes, indicative of our feelings, what our heart have. You ever see somebody animated when they're not pleased? The eyes sell them out. That is what she's talking about. She says, I serve the son of Kunti, and I see, and sometimes I maintain my equilibrium. I do not add because of my feelings. In many homes, the reaction of the girl not understanding everything, being vindictive sometimes to the boy's family, to his friends, co-workers, something you may not know the entire story about, but you react nonetheless, and you react prematurely without knowing all the facts, and it brings about conflict, because now it is no longer the problem, it was your reaction. She did, she said, she rolled her eyes, she stoops, you name it. You know, there's a popular video where somebody asked the minister for a house, and what became the news was not the fact that the person is homeless and they're begging for a house. The minister stoops. His reaction, that's the problem. So, in this point, she says, oh Satyabhama, before your reaction is judged, think about how you react. Think about what you're going to see. Think about your mannerisms that sell out sometimes, even if you're not pleased with something, because then that becomes the issue. Control your heart, your lust. Everybody has eyes. And she says here, celestials, humans, In this case, Gandharvas, the musicians, the athletes, young and handsome, wealthy, adorned with ornaments. My heart never feels attracted to anybody except my husband. I am mindful, next point, I am mindful of the timing of my husband. I never neglect our home, our family. I think, I plan, and although you may be a working girl, this communication is paramount. I'm not saying that only a housewife could do this. The girl could be working in an office. She might have a day job. She might have a business. But still, when I was in, beside full-time pundit and I was doing different jobs and places, I would still call, prayer will call me, where we eating, where we doing later, where we have to do satsang, puja, practice, what we doing. Till this day, that communication still happens. Still this day, she would always say, all right, let me sit down to eat. We want to eat together. Trust me, to come to do the satsang today, I wanted to wear a mash-up kurta. And no matter what going on, no matter how busy she is, no matter what job, no matter who she talking to on the phone, she would still consider that all the different things that she have doing, she would still study, because it doesn't go from your mind. For every lady, whether you're working or not, don't you study what your children eat or what your children, how they dress or whatsoever. So although you have your job, it just means you have more things to study. I agree. It doesn't mean you don't study. She says, I plan when I go for bath, when I go to eat, when I'll sleep, I wait for them. I wait for my husband to come home, and then when I know they have eaten, when I know, well, again, she's saying plural, but you know what I mean, one husband, right? I make sure that everything is in place. And that support is both ways, obviously, I'm saying it again. Whether returning from journey, from shopping, from the town, going to the forest, going to the fields, returning from wherever, getting up hastily when we run late, I always make time to greet my husband. Many people don't do that. When we get angry, your mother so and so, we know the words. We know the language. We know those words. Very good. But do you get up and say, Sitaram, I bow to the God in you? Do you say, hey, morning, evening, Sitaram, I walk through the door, I reach home? In this day and age, many couples fight because you did not tell me you was home. I didn't know you was home. You're coming from work. You'd have traffic. You'd have an accident on the road. But you didn't communicate with me. Maybe in a different way. This long time way of the fields is not expressing the need for communication. If it is a simple voice note or a text, hon, I reach home. Where you feeling to eat later? Where you want to eat? Or pick up something. I'm not feeling to cook today. But the communication is there. She says, Satya Mama, no matter how busy we are, I still oversee. In her case, she has servants and the palace people. I always keep the home and our household stuff safe, clean. Food is always there. We always make sure everything is well ordered and clean. I know what he would like to eat, and that is there. So, the effort, if you want to say the word, the effort, you're working, yes, but we all have off time. What do you choose to do with your off time? So, for example, yesterday, after I was reading Yajna, experimenting, personal hobby now, experimenting with different type of, how you call it, hot oil, different recipe to put in food and things. So you don't have to deal with the vinegar and all that. And I was practicing making some with masala, Indian hot oil. And I know Mommy Baba likes it. So I did it, I made it, and I put it for she. What do you do? I remember when I was small, my grandmother knew my grandfather was anything she make. I could safely say my grandfather, my nana, he was in love with my nanny because she could cook so good. Anything, when we were small and we were growing up, everything that she was cooking, he would be there in that kitchen with her, washing ways, supporting, cut up this, cut up that, like a team, truthfully. That was what we grew up seeing. And she used to make kochela and she would make different things and put it for him, although she had job to do. In this way, in just a little example, I am asking, whether you get help or not, it still takes communication, it still takes planning, it still takes from you. If you have to run to the grocery to pick up the type of soap your house like, or the particular brand of bread or whatever it be, the working girl still has a lot on her plate. Not only the house to study, but now you have all these things to study. And by doing it, what you do is you add to the comfort of your house and you gain respect because of it, in all fairness. In front of people, even when these wicked boys, even the wicked husband, gets me angry, Satyabhama, I never let people see that anger between me and my husband. I never speak harsh words to him in front of people. That's a big one. Gerd Brand talks about when you use moments to embarrass your spouse, and again, that both ways. That in your next life, God takes your Jivatma and He will make you into what? How you call it? Louse. That is where louse come from. People who embarrass. They want to, I want to use this opportunity to break you, to shame you, to pull you down. Likewise, I want to be better than that. So although, because there are days everybody gets on the wrong side, but I'm going to try, I'm going to control myself, and I'm going to keep that private. And in front of everybody else, there isn't a problem. When it's me and you alone, we'll hash it out. She says, practice it that way. She says, further to this, I know who and when to talk. I know not to act inappropriately with other men, to cause discomfort to my husband, because what I wouldn't like for myself, I wouldn't do for him. In Tulsidas Ramayana, Ansuya speaks to Sita Mata about the different types of good wife. And technically she's saying it here. What you like for yourself, that is what you're going to do. The standard you set. If the husband could go and laugh and talk and, carry on with another woman, I wouldn't like that. Okay, well then you don't do it as well. Separation from my husband is never agreeable to me. And we try not to do that. When my husband leaves to go by relatives, I miss him. In Shikis, them. I miss him. And I don't celebrate, I don't overdress and over perfume and flowers. I can't, because he's not there. What my husband, when he's there, life is there. Then I have a reason to support. Now, just to put a pin in that, whilst this is saying that, to add to it, in today's world, I encourage, yes, you're in a marriage and you do what you have to do, and you do, hygiene and perfume and all that is good. And just to be clear, you have to remember as a woman to do these things for yourself first. Not only for another person. It's nice when your husband could give you a compliment. It's nice when somebody could give you hey, you look good today. In a very, genuine way, in a loving way, not disrespectful. But the first person, especially our ladies, I'm talking, young girls, please, the first person we have to please is yourself. I look nice, I smell nice, happy with my hair, my clothes fit, good. I lost that extra weight, or I put on the extra weight. I look healthy, as they say. Because both ways. Too fat, too thin could be trouble. I feel good about myself. I went to work, I saved my money, I was able to buy the shoes I wanted or whatsoever. I'm happy with myself. Nothing wrong with that. I strive for peace. I strive to find common ground. When they like something, I try to show interest in those things. Do you do that? I mean, it's not everything one person like you go like, not to make it unnatural, but do you try to understand what this person like? Imagine, for example, let's talk about a business. Let's say the person selling wholesale chana. At some point, you're joining that family, you're joining this person on this journey, it paying the bills. It would only make sense. You learn about it. Let's just say his hobby is sound system and music stuff. One day you would want to learn about it, and you see it in power couples. You see it in couples that come together, and the girl learns, she absorbs the husband's, in this case, the business, and she learns the contacts. And I encourage that. This is encouraging that. Become strong. This is now your home. This is why you change your name. Because you are now on this side. And in this side, you always love your father's side and your family. Nobody didn't say that. No. But not knowing these things doesn't make you stronger. It makes you weaker. So yes, you could be who you is. But I wonder what it is about sound system. What do we sell? What is the nature of our business? So that when I sit, why am I saying it? When I sit to speak with my husband, this is something else we could talk about. It is a camaraderie, it is a partnership on a different level. Because now I could speak apples and apples. It isn't okay, he will talk about the roti and the children with me, and then everybody else, he has to talk about the business, whatever. I could be part of that side of his life. To use myself as an example, when Priya came into my life, she learned all the bhajan I had to sing, because I just make the whole mistake. So if you're listening to me when I'm singing, she just had to know when to jump in to save the pundit. She will remember, you see all these marks, what I read yesterday, what I read last night, where I rest my copy of the stotra, where I rest the book. For a man, it becomes as if you have your shadow with you. You have your best friend with you. That shadow sometimes don't see eye to eye with you, I agree. But if you want to get closer and you want to go from 5 years to 10 years to 15 years, then you find more and more commonalities, more and more, common ground to work together. And this is one way you could do it. In doing it, I find ways to feel proud of my spouse. That is a big one, eh? I respect my spouse. He just work hard. Imagine this. Tell me if you have this. Send me a message, everybody. Tell me if you have this at home. I respect my spouse. They go to work. They get up early in the morning and they go to work. Man or woman, go to work and they do all that they have to do. For example, my husband just go and he just toil in the land and plant tomatoes, and it was so hot today. I was so happy when he come home. I was so pleased when I see him. I feel sorry for him, his skin burn. But I love that man. That respect, that regard, chocolate can never do that justice. These things that we banter about chocolate and love song and flowers, maybe they have a role, may I say no. But remember, that is just commercial plaster. That is when you cannot talk or show your love and you're dependent on something else now to transmit the message. I don't know how to tell you I love you, Here, look, some chocolate. You're going to understand the sweetness. But imagine, he follow me. Imagine the husband went and he toiled in the field. And the wife so eager for all the women looking on, correct me, tell me if I'm wrong. You're so pleased, you're so happy. You have everything. It's perfect. But this person, you love this person so much. Tell me what you do today now. Tell me your story now. Tell me what you do, where you find. You see a snake in the land. You see a snail in the land. You pick 15 tomatoes. I just want to talk to you. She says, I find a way, and I found myself respecting my spouse. And when I did it, I found a new devotion to my job. Because whatever I was doing, I wanted to do better. Because it was for this person. Whatever I did, it wasn't for me. The selflessness, the devotion, this is where it's starting to grow. Just as if whatever you do for your children, no argument, you do it and you willingly sacrifice. Father and mother alike. That is devotion. When you see parents sacrifice, you know what, I don't need to change my glasses this year, Pandit. That child needs to get glasses. I don't need to go on the line with the boys. I want to buy them a bike this Christmas. Things are getting harder and I want to prioritize my spend. Sacrifice. Devotion to family. I could go and hang out with the co-workers, but Father's Day, I want to spend it with my children and my wife. Priority. But in the same way, that happens in marriage. I know she want a dress, so and so, the family wedding coming up, and I want to buy her that dress. I know that will make her happy. She has to get a blender for that kitchen. I know her feet hurt. I want to buy the sole in for she shoes. I want to rub she foot. Time sometimes. And that respect and that regard comes naturally. And it allows your job to become so easy. It allows that your work is not work. I always perform my duty for my in-laws, knowing this is where he came from, knowing that this is where he started. I show reverence, I show gratitude, and I grow in love with them. I do not strive on separatist type behavior. And when you add, O Satyabhama, you add to this loving relationship, the husband sees it. O Satyabhama, remember today you're the daughter-in-law, tomorrow you will be the mother with a son. And you wouldn't want the girl, the daughter-in-law, to come and try to rip you apart. Why do it now? With regard to charity, puja, tarpan, pitra worship, cooking food, sharing for guests, reverence, seva, showing regard, whether it is in the day or the night, I stand next to him and we do all worship together. Straightforward. If in today's world we have different religion, and whilst yes, there are some people that do make it work, There are, in Hinduism, let's keep it within our circle, in Hinduism there are some people who are more active and people who are less active. So there's a difference in understanding there. But the family that pray together, stay together 10 to 1. Could you imagine sitting with your spouse and the person says, Lord Shiva, please make my wife love me. Lord Shiva, please, I wish my wife would want to touch me. Lord Shiva, please let my husband want to have sex with me. When that type of truth start to hit you, would the problem continue? Lord, I fed up be the bad parent. My spouse does not stand up to correct these children. He is so busy trying to befriend that I am the only bad one. Dear Lord, please help me. 2 doors are that, and the problem solved. It is another way to communicate. Via the avenue of God, the person hears what is in the other person's mind. In addition to the advent of God in your life, of course, I say, but she says, never, never have I broken from the role of praying with my spouse. There is no day I practice idleness and neglect to pray with them. Whether it is in the prayer room, in the kitchen, over food, I always be, and I'm always instilling, reminding, come on, don't forget, you have to offer your dar. Don't forget before you go, light it here. Here, look your flowers. Like Miss Priya, you know, Baba always busy rushing, going, studying the phone. And she will get up when I'm going. No, I tell her, I'm my business. Shh, don't tell nobody. And she'll come with the flowers. And I jump, I ready, fight him with the seatbelt. Put your flowers by Amurti. And to be honest, if it wasn't for she and the way she does do it, I probably never do it, to be honest, because everything else is important. You're busy, you're late. But she says, Satyabhama, you have to be the one to instill that standard. Where are these things coming from? Where in our Dharma does it say all these things are important? Go in chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita and he says, you know what is Kali Yuga? When the women of our society, when the women of our family, women of our village or home do not teach, do not do their job, when they neglect their homes, neglect the family, they don't say, hey, don't forget to say your prayers. Hey, don't forget to light it there, for example. Then the family is in Kali Yuga, because then, brother, you're lost. You doubt me? Okay, tell me where you would be without your mother. Without your mother saying, hello, say your prayers. Hey, bow to your father foot. Hello, say your prayers. Do your havan. Get up, offer your dar. And being that type of force, what standard would you have? How many women here looking on? Tell me if your mother-in-law didn't say, hello, you cannot sweep the floor and leave the little, the little rubbish. Who are you waiting for? For me to come and pick it up? If your mother-in-law was not there to train you, to invigorate you to do better, who would do it? Today you are who you are, you're strong. Somebody criticized the roti, the dal puri, the way I iron the shirt, the way a child dressed, the way the hair comb. It was harsh in the moment. But from that criticism comes so much development. If a mother doesn't do her job, what kind of complacent, doke-dam, wayward society would we have? Today, with all the craziness that is happening, with all the advancement in technology and everything, now we have domestic violence problem. Now we have children mining children, children being walking away from house, people kidnapping children. Those things never existed. Our families used to be 20 children in a home, and it didn't happen then. Now you have one child. With less support systems of the grandmother and the aunts and all these people are wrong. And now this type of neglect, now this nobody to help with homework, nobody to check the book bag, nobody checks the book anymore. Now you have trouble seeping in from different places. She says, I serve from a truthful standpoint. That sounds strange, huh? She says, I serve from a truthful standpoint. When you look at your spouse as a poisonous snake, where you cannot trust the person, how will you love the person? When you cannot trust the person's opinion, when you cannot trust the person to tell you the truth, when you cannot depend on the person to be honest, to tell you, you find her looking fat in the skirt, you find her looking stupid in this haircut. No, baby, you're looking good. You could die with your husband want to hear. And then you leave the person vulnerable to get embarrassed outside. But you didn't tell me the truth. For example, simple example. But when you know you have a force that is relentlessly honest, that is going to come and tell you, listen to me, please do what you want, but don't go and try to cook again. You fail, you can't make. Your curry aloo don't taste good. You just get people belly sick, don't do it. You make for that color, you're a little too dark. Don't wear certain things, it don't suit you. She says, I serve truthfully, and they know that. They know where I stand. If you ask me my opinion, I tell you the truth. Like it or leave it, I'll tell you the truth. And gently I give them what they need to hear. Not what they want, but what they need. And in this way I support them. The husband is the God of that wife. When your spouse becomes something of a divinity, serving that divinity is not a problem. Touching his feet does not become a problem. Arguably, some people do not have that. And my advice is, choose properly. Start there. Please don't choose copper and expect it to shine like gold. But when you want gold, when you want to live as if you have something golden, choose gold. When you want your son to be golden, train him to be golden. Because somebody is going to have to face bad behavior later on. I am always a refuge in the life of my husband. My husband runs to me. He comes to tell me his story, his crazy ideas, his plans. And if I have to shoot down his ideas, that's fine, that's my rule. I support him in that way. I don't leave him to make a mistake. There are some men have the world of ideas, and the wife would never correct them or stop them, but see them do it and fail. Laugh at them even. I always guide my husband. I never speak ill of my mother-in-law because it would hurt him. I speak the truth. There's a difference. I speak the truth. My husband is obedient to me. My husband is loving to me because I humbly, diligently, am very focused in my marriage. And because of that, I have proved myself to be a worthy spouse. And because of that now, I was blessed because I prayed for my marriage. I prayed all the while to get married. In my marriage, I continue to pray because Satyabhama, there isn't a day we are not tested. Bear in mind, this is the woman who was nearly raped because of she husband. Let me just clarify this. This woman husband bet she in a gambling match and her next man stripped the sari off she body and she was on she monthly cycle. She was not in the room. I will put this in context. She was in another room. In those days when a woman, because of germs, was in that season, in that monthly period, they would stay one side. They dragged her from where she was because of the action of her husband, and they start to pull the sari off she body. She says, because of my diligence, my humility, because of how I conduct myself and my God's blessings. Because remember, she's called Krishna because she prays to Krishna so much. So good. That she got the type of husband that saw what she's given and they gave it back. Or they strive to give it back. Every day, I get up and I do my best. I try my best to improve. I try my best to better. I try my best to forgive. Because she had to forgive too. A lot to forgive. Formally, when you distil, Satyabhama, you don't understand, When this man decides it is time to do charity and prayers, 4,000 Brahman wants to come. He wants to feed everybody. And that's all he does. Sitting on the throne, he announced, we are going to feed everybody. It is me, Satyabhama. I who have to work with all the maids, all the servants, get all the dishes, get all the paraphernalia, all the details. For every cup, it have to have ice, it have to have a straw, it have to have plate, napkin, garbage bag. Who doing what? It is my work. And I do it happily. Because when we achieve together. I see the value in charity. I see the value in any celebration. And I embrace my role. I embrace my job. Because no matter how busy I am, I do what I have to do. And by doing so, I lead by example, not only for him, but also for the children to see. Prem se bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Let's join together in this verse. As she continues, as she's coming to the end of this chapter. Achyutam Keshavam Satyabhamadhavam Madhavam Sridharam Radhikaraditam Indira Mandiram Chetasa Sundaram Devaki Nandanam Nandajam Sandade Sarvam Rage Sumudyamya Chavyamevacha Ekaham Vidya Kalyani Pandavam Pashyati Achyutam
Keshavam Ramanarayanam Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hare
Krishna Damodaram
Vasudevam Hare.
She says, do you think he rules this world by himself? Satyabhama. There are many things that great king with that crown on his head that he doesn't know. He rules this earth, this kingdom, this palace, this household. But in reality, the rules are enforced by myself. He says something, but I enforce it. I listen to all the children. I listen to everybody. I listen to all the maids, all the servants. Everybody comes to unburden and to give their complaints to me. I maintain the ship. All the shepherds, all the cow herders, everybody comes to this household. But it is I who keep this home going. They are the Pandavas. They run. They are the Kshatriya. They are in front. But who knows the true income and expenditure of this palace? Who knows the true income and expenditure of this household? Oh, beautiful lady. looking at me, a person may not understand the true role of what is a wife. But it's this wife that makes sure that all the workers are paid. It is this wife that serves in order for him to reign. This load so heavy, incapable of being borne, being lifted by a person with evil intentions, evil heart, I sacrifice easily. I bear this day and night every day because of who my spouse is. I could only do it because of it is that person. Tell me to do it for somebody else, couldn't do it. For every wife watching me, tell me. This man support you and he give you these children. You had this life, you have this time. Nobody, including this girl, did not have it perfect. No, it ain't perfect. Don't let me fool each other. But you know it have good days. It have something that keeps you there, keeps the struggle going on. She says, because of who he is, so I am able to do all that I do. Whilst my husband is engaged in virtuous pursuits, as a king he means, I supervise the treasury, I supervise the granary, your kitchen cupboard, your purse. I do it day and night. Regardless to what's going on, I support them and I am equal to them in terms of my burden, in terms of my strength, because my mother never taught me to be weak. I would get up from my bed first and I would be the last one to get down. This has become my custom, my dear. This is how it works. And in this way, my life, if you want to ask what charm, what amulet, what trickery, this is the trick to happiness and having peace of mind. Don't do it for an outcome. Don't live this life for any particular accolade. Don't do it for others to see or for the act. Do it for the God that lives in the heart of your spouse. Do it for God is watching you. God is judging you. God gave me this husband. In Gita Mahatyam, he says, Parad karma makes you a wife, makes you a sister, makes you a daughter, and one day he will judge you and he'll say, I gave you a husband. What did you do? I gave you 3 children. What did you do? You know what, God? I did the best. As she's saying here, you gave me this responsibility. And regardless to if he gambled me away, if he was unfair to me, yesterday discourse, not because somebody hurt you, it means do them back. Because the truth devotees, we come alone and we have to go alone. Remember that. I'm not saying be foolish. But remember, regardless to what, we are judged on what we do. She says, Satyabhama, this is the ability. This is the ability of a woman. And this strength is there. Nobody could take that from her. Amulet, mantras might stop being jagawit. What will happen if you stop saying the prayers, Pandit? Then the spell will break. When the obia and all the jadoo and all with the burying cemetery and all these things you see now, when it stopped, what will happen then? But if you live right and you live for the Lord and you don't do it for accolade and you don't do it for people to see, because one day the act will have to stop. And you get married and you become a wife and you realize that God gave me this role. This Lord Krishna gave me the role to play as a wife and a mother. You know what? One day you'll ask me, what did you do with your time? Dear God, I was the best wife. Dear God, I was a most faithful, honest, straightforward wife. I was the best mother. I was a diligent mother. I was a stickler for discipline. I did my job. You give me the job and I did my job. Give me the reward now. Free me from this birth and death. Do it for that. She says, oh, Satyabhama, this is how my husband has remained loyal, faithful, etc. In this way, as we come to the end of chapter 233, Vaishampaya says, having heard these virtuous words, Satyabhama expressed her reverence. She touched the feet of Draupadi and she says, oh Panchali, oh Yagyaseni, I today am at fault. We're talking like friend. Forgive me. But I didn't mean anything bad. I did not mean to insinuate that the love you have, the adoration you have from your husband is because of nefarious reasons. I didn't mean that. Draupadi smiles and she says, remember, always let your husband feel safe. Let him feel loved. Let him feel as if when he comes home, he is safe. Receive him, wait on him. Be active. Don't be idle. Take care of yourself. You know, for some reason, people get lazy in their marriage. And one of the points that she comes on here with, if you, and we're talking straight, all of these big people, if you have to put on something special for your husband, if you have to shave, color your hair, fix yourself, smell nice, clean, all of we talk about hygiene, cleanliness is next to godliness, and of course that goes both ways. Who else would you do it for? Who else is worth the effort? Well, between me and you, nobody else. I hate to shave. I think it's needless because it's going to grow back. So I'm lazy. You know how this will be a grow sometimes. I'll just be happy in Petra Pax because that time we can let it grow. But when mommy baba come, this have to go in sir. This have to go in sir, to see a smile on her face without saying a word disappear. And I'll do that. This lazy man, this lazy man would do it just to make she happy. Do you have examples like that? Do you have that in your home? She says, oh Satyabhama, stand with your husband. Behave yourself. Know when to talk and know who you're talking your business with. Remember, beside your marital vows, all that, be careful. Be careful. 2 points we're going to make here. Last 2 points. Be careful who you talk your business with. Not everybody for you. And the last one, be careful with the friends. I always, me and mommy, baba, if we talk in the married couples, when they're now married, if we're doing a wedding, we talk to them before and then we talk to them after. Because when the wedding finish, the wedding day finish, and the first 2 weeks pass and the month pass, and that's when the boy starts to get disgusting. And the nasty ways and the strange ways and the adjustment starts to come out. When all of these things start happening, that's when you need a guiding hand to just say, don't worry. Don't worry. Hold to your marriage. Hold on. Don't get distracted. Don't get sidetracked. Everybody goes through this. Hold on. This is not the end of the world. Hold on. So we sit together and we counsel people. It is my firm belief, and I know she says the same thing. You see, married people, correct me if I'm wrong, send me a message. Married people should never, long term, never associate, hang out with single people. It is a dangerous thing because those single people, divorced people, have a different perspective and a different way, let's say a different tolerance, a different patience. Marriage is patience. If anybody tell you otherwise, they know what they're talking about. There are days, just like what Draupadi goes through, where you are tested, where you are just like what we discussed yesterday. The sea is pushing you to the other side, and it is easy to walk away. It is easy to give up. Yes, I agree. But a married person tries, even when they pray, if nowhere else, if counseling, going to the pundit, going to the counselor, going to the police if necessary, but try. And yes, if all else fails, do what you have to do. But try. Try. If we live right, if we focus on living right and not only rushing to do maybe what, as I highlighted in the beginning, what exists, quick fix that exists in other religion, our religion, manipulating prayer. How about, from the girl's perspective in this discourse, we stand firm, stand fast, and we embrace, whether we're working or not, whether we have children or not, whether we have mother-in-law or not, or whatever in-law, we stand fast in our home and we do what we have to do from a selfless perspective. Focus. Walk away with this in your mind. Focus on making the other person happy. Don't get married only for your gratification. But get married to make somebody. God sent this person for you. That's the truth. Just as how you'd understand that if I said God sends the soul in the little boy or the little girl, that's your son or daughter. Whether they're fair, they're dark, thin, fat, tall, short, you would love them. God send me the soul. Likewise, in the body of your spouse, which is not perfect, God send this person for you. And you try your very best. You pray on it. You work on it. You don't give in. And if God bless you, you have the type of spouse that working with you, well, then you'll be a success. Don't worry. The rough waters that you may be going through right now as we speak, those waters will pass. And peace will come back. What did he say yesterday in Gita? He says, no matter when the rivers are gushing into the ocean, we must be like the ocean to take those moments and stand firm, stand neutral. Don't rock left and right every time something good or bad happens. Chapter 5. Offer all your actions to God. Shaking off attachment. I'm not doing nothing for people to say, Pandit is a nice husband. I remain untouched by sin because whatever I do, whatever you do, do it for God. Do God watching me. Let me cook this roti nice. God watching me. When a person could do that, when the wise have attained that person with a firm intellect, free from doubt, rejoices. Not when they have pleasant days and cries or perturbed because they had an unpleasant occasion. But if you want to live in God, if you want to live knowing that God is here and then God is around you, then regardless of if the day go rough or the day go good, I know that God is watching me and I'm going to do my duty. I am going to do my best. I'm not going to give up. So then, there is no need to talk about suicide. There is no need to talk about all these other macabre things that we see in today's society. There is enough avenue. There is enough text. There is enough prayers. There is enough people to get help when you need help. And we do need help. We do need people sometimes to corral and help us. Don't worry, you'll get through this. Don't worry. Maybe if you do it this way, it might be better. Maybe you're watching it a little off. Try it this way and see. Today, as we conclude, He alone, chapter 5, verse 23. He alone who is able to withstand in this life before casting off this body the urges of lust and anger, that is a yogi. The person is happy. Arjun, that person is happy. That person who is happy within the self within, enjoys within himself the delights of the soul. And so, the inner light, let's call it Brahma, let's call it God, that person knows peace. By going through good action, the sins that whatever they have, they purge out those sins. All the doubts get dispelled. Knowledge comes. And that person lives right. They think about the heart and mind of other people. With God established inside of you, all your actions are guided because of your devotion to God, because God is there. You don't give up. And that person attains that Brahman. What is the point of attaining the Brahman? I want to be at peace. What we say when somebody dies? Go to peace, rest in peace. We want peace. You could get peace in this life. You could have peace of mind now. Is how you live, how you fix yourself. The wise person free themselves from lust and anger and control their mind. And they realize that whatever they do in their present, that God is all around them. And in this way, peace of mind is the blessing that you're looking for. By doing these things, by following this conversation today that we discussed with Draupadi and Satyabhama, in your life, in the perspective of the female, it is possible by changing your mindset, your disposition, your outlook, that you could do the same thing, but do it for a different reason. And in doing it so, prevent being disappointed. Oh, well, he didn't compliment me on my hair. He did not say anything about my perfume, so I stopped wearing perfume. I stopped bathing with soap. I stopped shaving under my arm. I stopped fixing myself because he don't say nothing nice. So I stopped cooking because you don't eat my food. You just only go by your mother. Then it means that you only did it for praise. You only did it for him to see. How about you do it for yourself? How about you do it the Hindu side? How about you do it for God? Rise above whatever mistakes the husband is making. Not because, yesterday we said it, not because somebody does bad to you, you do back bad to them. That doesn't solve anything. Gandhi says, eye for an eye just makes everybody blind. If I bust your eye, you want to bust back my eye, and we bust back each other's eye, and we go in like that in that analogy, nobody would have eyes. That's all you would achieve. The truth is, somebody wants to go low, we go high, according to Barack Obama. Today, as I conclude, I hope you appreciated what Satyabhama is saying. I wanted to touch on this, and of course, I look forward to your messages. Before we go, let's sing just a little bit to our Lord Krishna as we pray for Krishna. And I encourage those of you that need guidance in your marriage, if you need prayer to help you in whichever aspect, finance, lifespan, my husband is sickly, there is prayer, of course, there is prayer to say, please reach out, please send me a message, please WhatsApp me, or whichever way you want to message me, so that you could get that advice and we could discuss it. No two cases the same, obviously, and we could discuss it. Let's sing together before we conclude. O Manamohana, O Manamohana Madhura Nandalala, Bajuradhe Govinda Gopala, O Manamohan Madhura Nandalala, Bajuradhe
Govinda Gopala.
Those of you at home, sing with me. Or those of you looking on at TikTok, before we go, let's sing together. Krishna, 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 Krishna. O Manamohan, O Manamohan Madhura Nandalala, Bajuradhe Govinda Gopala. You know, when God makes somebody, when God puts somebody for you, And I agree not everybody has the same journey, but my personal story, Mommy, Baba and when I went Williamsville Junior Second, I didn't know she was 2 rows in the line. She was right there, but I never see she. Then when I left Junior Sec, and I was already Pandit doing prayers in Hindustan temple, she's related to the whole village. Never see she. I went to read Jag in their village. Never see she. And one day spot she. And I fell in love. To be honest, I admit it. My best friend takes care of me till this day. And I couldn't do half the things. If anybody knows how we are together, from laughing and talking stupidness to everything, she'll go on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube and see some craziness and she'll send me it on the phone and we're next to each other, God bless every young couple that you could be better than me. We's novice in it. But trust me, as a pundit, I believe that God sends people to you. God makes somebody for you, but take the time to do proper research. Check your patra, talk it over with elders, get blessings. Blessings does make a big difference. And pray for what you want. Always pray, God, I want to be happy when I get married. Dear God, I want to be extremely blessed. I want to have the family. I want to have many anniversaries. And God does answer prayer. I can tell you that. This is why, for me, when they talk about, I always remember I was getting married and my mother was a widow. So she says, I can't do this. And she puts me in the care of adopted parents. And Uncle Harish and Auntie Devika did my mother and father part. And why? Because they were married for many years. And when these people that are married, still committed to each other, bless you, and they say, you know what, from what we know, from what we fight to have, we could bless you with heartfelt devotion, with heartfelt sentiment. God bless you, you're going to have more than what we have. I believe that blessing does flow and manifest in your life. But if you is a widower, unfortunately, and you don't know about the happiness, in this case we're talking about marriage, you're not married. Let's start there. You're not married. You don't know what it takes to live with somebody who's a pest, who's a beast, who is disgusting. You don't know what it is. How are you going to bless me with what you don't know about? So, when you see people who have that type of experience, and they rest their hands on you and they wish you well and they give you consolation, don't worry, girl. You will come out of this. You will overcome this. You will triumph this. You will see happy days still to come. Believe me, those words have value. Radha, 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 O Mana Mohan Madhura Nandalala, Bajurade Govinda Gopala. I remember Charlene, I was sitting by Charlene's feet. Charlene is this sister who I grew up with, consider sister, across the road from my grandmother when we were small. And I didn't know the song, but I heard her sing the song and I fall in love with the song. And in order for me to get the time, and she was knocking the drum and she taught me this song. It took some time, but I learned this song roughly in 96 or 97. Oh Mana Mohan, Charlene girl, if you happen to be watching this satsang, God bless you and thank you for always your kindness and love from our brother to our sister. Oh Mana Mohan Madhura Nandalala, Bhajuradhe Govinda Gopala. Shiva Om, Shiva Om, Shiva Om, Shiva Om. Guru Om, Guru Om, Guru Om, Guru Om. Om Manamohan, Om Manamohan Madhura Nandalala. Bhajuradhe Govinda Gopala. Vrindavan Bihari Lala ki jai. And as we reach to chapter 235, Satyabhama says, by listening to your discourse, I have learned the secret to making a happy life, a peaceful life, a life that is free of all thorns. This is why your home and your children have the good training that they have, and they will achieve greatness by your will and your actions. Your children are in good hands, and I wish to emulate your example. Blessed are the people that listen to this discourse. Blessed are the people who would read it. Blessed are those that would put it into practice. Take my advice and tell somebody about it. Share it with somebody. That let the mother-in-law that has a daughter-in-law that has these type of behavior, these types of patterns, these types of habits, blessed is that lady that she could live to see somebody take care of her son and grandchildren in this way. May they always be blessed. Satyabhama climbs onto the chariot as Lord Krishna is now ready to go. And she says, Draupadi Didi, thank you for your teachings. Thank you. You have brought peacefulness. You have brought calmness. You have given me the knowledge. You have taught me as if I went to school and I learned how to be a wife. A wife. Now peacefulness will be mine because I could do it. I didn't know what to do before. I was flying blind. It's not what you do. It's not what you do. It's how you do it. I could cook roti and curse you. I could cook roti and tell you I love you. I could hug you up and squeeze you. In the end of Mahabharata, Dhritarashtra goes and he hugs a statue thinking it was beam and he broke it in half. And the same hug I could show you love or I could cause you pain. It is not what you do. It is how you do it. It is how you do it. And at the core is what Draupadi is saying. Every day we get up and we do our duty. We do it. But when you want to have peacefulness in your mind, don't do it with hateful thoughts. Don't do it with negative standpoints or lies in your heart. Do it with truthfulness. Do it with devotion. Do it because God is watching you. If you understand that point, do it in that way, and every day is going to be work-free. It is going to be effortless. You're going to be light, and you'll feel the peacefulness come into your life. Let your job, let your duty as a spouse become part of your prayer. Dear God, I'm going to cook this food. I want him to live. I want her to be happy. I'm going to dress it nice in the bowl. I'm going to pack it in such a way this person is so happy. When that man goes and he opens that lunch kit and he sees the effort, oh Lord, she overpacked food. He's sharing with all his friends. You see, my wife make this, my wife could bake, my wife could this. That is how man is. You feel proud. You feel proud. Remember that. Again, I'm saying no two situations is the same. If you need to talk, please reach out. Me and Mommy Baba are here for you. Remember that. Prem Sabula Vindravan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. We've come to the end of our second session. For those of you on TikTok, it was wonderful having you here. I look forward tomorrow to have you again. Everybody, those of you that are looking on after the fact on Facebook, on the television, on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the TikTok so that you would be able to be informed when we're doing our many satsang. These things together with things like our Seva group, with the book drive and the hamper drive, the food drive, the beach cleanup, our many activities is only done to encourage, to harness the seva, the goodness, the charitable side of our community and our younger ones. Please join with us. If you would like to get involved, let me know. We have a blood drive coming up. And we need our Hindu brothers and sisters to be in support of our group so that when you need blood, there is blood. Only for those of you that are fighting in the hospital with loved ones that need a blood or platelets for leukemia patients, then you know the value of blood. Now, there is a shortage in Trinidad, throughout the world. Many temples do it and we're going to do the same. I look forward to having you. Until we could do it again tomorrow, everybody be well, be safe. Please join your hands as we do final prayer. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Together everybody. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Prem Sabalomapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Pavanasutta Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. Vindravan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma Ki Jai. Jai Jai Sitaram. Sitaram everybody until tomorrow. Bye bye.
Sitaram, and thank you for joining us. That was a very informative and beautiful satsang presented by Pandit Keshava Gosine. You can call or WhatsApp Panditji at 712-2180. Sitaram.
At Phoebe Sessa Agricultural Garden, we sell a variety of garden and agricultural supplies and tools both for domestic and commercial use. Whatever your agricultural needs, we've got it. Contact Phoebe Sessa Agricultural Garden Supplies for all your gardening and agricultural needs. They are located at number 29 Mukurapo Street, San Fernando, and newly opened at lot number 2, Sherwood Park, Canby, Tobago, behind the Performance Auto Building. They are also a distributor and servicing dealer for all still products. Open and